All right, Time 97, number one for hip hop is TT Torrez, and my special guest is in the building. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself.
Yes. I go by the name of Symba for y'all who don't know. Shout out to TT for having me up here today.
Nah, yo, you made me blush. You like, I watch your interviews on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
I be checking everything. I'm a big podcast, radio content watcher.
Yeah.
I like to watch
So then
a
you
lot.
gotta check out my podcast, Tap In with TT.
Okay, for sure.
Check that out.
For sure.
I'm going to release some of my classic interviews. Like I have interviews with artists that aren't even here
Released.
anymore.
Wow.
Like I have Shorty Low interview.
Damn.
I have a DMX interview. I
Damn.
have like some really classic interviews that I want to release in a podcast.
That's dope too that you was able to hold on to those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it makes it more valuable. Unfortunately, they're not here, but even
Yeah.
through them not being here, it's still a lot we can learn from them not being here through those interviews.
Yeah.
So,
I'm kind of like a young OG.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got a Nipsey Hussle interview.
That's
it's
legendary.
so interesting. Somebody tagged me on Instagram not too long ago with me on a red carpet with Nipsey.
Wow.
And it was just like, do you remember this? I was
Yeah.
like, wow, I don't
Yeah.
remember. It's like, because sometimes my radio career unfortunately outlasts some of the rap artists' careers.
That's true.
You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of artists go up, and then I've seen a lot of artists come down. So
That's true.
and I'm not just talking about artists that pass away.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about
Yeah.
in general. So sometimes people will send me something. I'll be like, damn.
One
Like,
thing
where
I
did they get
learned-
that from?
One thing I learned is the people in front of the camera change every day, but the people behind it tends to stay the same a lot.
Yeah.
So you're a legend in this business just in itself. So through your journey, you're gonna cross certain things. It's artists that come and go. It's artists that pass. You know what I mean? Artists get hot, then they get cold.
Yeah.
So that's legendary that you able to capture the moments.
Well, thank you. I always tell artists, don't get so consumed with putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Don't just feel like you constantly have to be chasing the artist side of the business.
For sure.
You know what I
That's
mean?
something we get stuck in too, because if you look at the greats, they did it in music, but they did it somewhere else. So it's like Jay took his music catalog and did it in business.
Yeah.
50 did it in TV. Kanye doing it in fashion.
And think about not even them, but before them, LL Cool J,
Yep.
Queen Latifah.
Movies.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They took the film industry and made it bigger than what it is.
Yep.
You know, your guy from the West Coast who was a part of NWA,
Yep.
he never thought that being
A rapper,
rapper
would turn
would
into a scriptwriter.
right. Yeah, be
Real
a
talk.
scriptwriter.
Real
Ice Cube
talk.
is one of the most legendary guys who did gangster rap.
Yep.
And look how he transitioned.
And think of all the kids that know Ice Cube from Are We There Yet?
Right.
Right? So he like reinvented himself through that.
Reinvented
to Stay
himself.
young.
He didn't stay stuck.
Yep.
And oftentimes I see artists come into this game and they don't wrap their heads around the business, either, especially your generation. No disrespect to your
Nah,
generation.
definitely.
But what happens sometimes is they get so caught up in social media fame
Yeah.
and then the drugs
Yeah.
and they don't pay attention to the business of their business.
Yeah.
Because being an artist is a fucking business.
For sure.
It is a 9 to motherfucking 5, 24/7, 7 days a week job.
For sure.
And if you don't treat it like a business, that's when you have people that come and infiltrate your business.
For sure.
And then things and steps are missed in the process, and that fucks up the longevity.
For sure. I think it's a tricky thing too, because it's like dreams don't come with a brochure, right? So it's like when you first get in this business, it's nobody telling you what publishing is, what you actually signing. So you gotta really kind of like fuck up a little bit to learn how to get it right.
Yeah.
So it's tough for artists because you're coming from these urban communities where we got a lack of information, right? You make a song in your closet, it goes viral, it turns up. Now you moving around the world, meeting all these different people, you in different studios, and you did this from the
From the
corner of
gutter.
your studio, you
Yeah.
know what I mean, in the closet, so you don't even really know why it's working.
Yeah.
You just reaping the benefits of what's going on.
Yeah.
So it's I feel like it's important too, for a lot of, not just myself, like you,
OGs.
different people
Yeah.
to give us that insight. Like
But you gotta listen though. I think
got to.
I think for you probably in a space of where you will listen.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For
And
sure.
take that knowledge and be like, yo, let me soak that up.
For sure.
And let me ask questions
Facts.
and the process.
Facts.
Because if you don't ask questions, how are you supposed to know
Get the
how this
answers.
works?
Yeah.
How are you supposed to know how to invest this show money to make it more, you know, and you
Yeah.
getting percentages and this and that off of this show money you can live off of that when this rap career is over, because your investments are carrying you to whatever that next phase is.
Yeah.
When you think of someone like I will also say like a Yo Gotti, you know what I'm saying? He got all the
Legend.
hot everybody under him right now.
Yeah.
But he took what he learned as a rap artist and applied that to the business aspect of it.
We was talking about that last night too. I feel like somebody like Gotti, he's a great leader, right? We was actually just talking about this. He's a great leader. All of us aren't great leaders. Some of us need somebody to kind of help lead us and help us figure it out, to learn how to lead.
Yeah.
And I feel like we growing up right now in a generation where it's like kids is raising kids.
Yeah.
Right? You got, me and bro was just talking about that. You got moms, you know, who had their child at 15, 16 years old, right? The kid end up being 16, which makes them 32. They still on Instagram.
They still
You
on
know what I mean? They
Instagram.
still trying to be famous. So it's
Yeah.
like, I know I done been in the club and seen daughters with their mamas in the club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's tricky today.
But you know what? You make a good point. That's a great and valid point. And I think in our community, you know, before social media, that always kind of been there, right? Like you've had, you know, this, when the crack era hit, you had this kind of lost generation because they ripped the fathers from the home and they sent them to prison.
Yep.
And so you had this generation of kids growing up without no leadership in their families, right? And then it became a cycle that repeated itself.
Yep.
And now it's just magnified because you can't even fucking pick your nose without somebody putting a camera in your face.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's tough too because it's like, I feel like my parents' generation, they didn't take technology as serious as we did, so it's a gap. So it's like things that they don't understand that we understand, and we not operating off the same technology that they did growing up. So
Yeah.
it's a miscommunication gap because
Yeah.
we not understanding how to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
So that's something we need more of. Like, I was telling somebody the other day, like, it seemed like grandmas is like a lost art today. You know what I mean? Like, you used to have a grandma to check your mama for when she was going wrong, but now
Yeah.
it's like the grandma, she's all out of tune. Like, she
She's-
barely know how to
yeah.
work Facebook, so she
Yeah.
can't really see what's going on or tell your mom
But then
to
you
check
have the grandmas that are Bernice Burgos out here, and they still hosting parties, and
Hey,
you know.
Bernice look good. Don't you
Yeah,
do that.
you know what I'm
Don't you do
saying?
that. Don't you
so,
do that.
So I'm just saying, I'm nothing wrong with it, but it's like this you know,
No, you're right.
cycle, you know.
You're right. It's a youthful cycle today.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of, 40, 50-year-old women that's still using that young card, you know what I mean, and getting away with it.
And it's challenging for a rapper, you know. Look what just happened to
PnB Rock.
PnB.
Yeah,
And you're
rest in
from,
peace.
you
Yeah.
live in LA.
Yeah.
That's right. You're from the Bay, grew up in the Bay.
Yeah.
The Bay is rough too. Don't get
Same
it
thing.
fucked up.
It's rough everywhere.
It's rough.
Yeah.
But now you live in LA.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, you and I were just talking behind the scenes about New York, right? And then what LA is becoming and what the West Coast is becoming. It's concrete jungle right now.
Yes.
You got the pandemic, which, hurt a lot of people financially, mentally, physically.
Yep.
Then you have these cities who were destroyed by the economy. Now we're in a recession. Inflation is crazy.
Yep.
The job market is trash.
Yep.
You get a job, but then they don't pay you enough to really survive because of the cost
Inflation.
of inflation,
Yep.
right? So people out here just trying to get it the best way they can, and it's wrong.
It's wrong.
It's wrong.
For sure.
But, you have some people that are in this survival mode and desperation mode. Any other way, I just need a quick come up. I just need to get it quick. And if I see somebody dripped out,
Yep.
I gotta take that and I gotta flip that and I gotta get a lick. You know what I'm
for
saying?
real.
So
It's-
how are you moving in that?
It's tough, man. We was just talking with Jim Jones last night. We was talking about how being a rapper is like really one of the most dangerous jobs. So even this morning, like, I'm coming out of my hotel, me and the bros, we going to get some Starbucks, and this dude just kind of like side-eyeing me, you know what I mean, looking at my jewelry. So like, being a rapper, this shit is like a costume. You know what I mean? You gotta have your jewelry on and make people look, all these type of things, but it's dangerous because not only are you dealing with poverty and people that's looking for something, you got a lot of people who created new lives in the pandemic. So a lot of people got their PPP money, right? They got them loans and they went and got new cars, they went and got new houses, and they got adjusted to a new life that they still got to pay for. So now they willing to do whatever to keep that life going. And it's unfortunate that, you know, a piece of jewelry or a chain will make you just take somebody's life and end it all. Like, that man got a daughter. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's fair that, you know, people are accusing his girlfriend, you know, of doing something because it's like she got a child with this man.
And
so
that
why would
trauma.
she wanna, why would she wanna set her child's father up and get him hurt or get him killed or something
And
like that?
then look at it from a different perspective. How many people were in that restaurant that saw him there, that could have texted outside of her? Just because she posted her meal pic on Instagram don't mean that that was the reason as to why, you know, he died. I think we all need to rally around her and support her because that's a traumatic experience to see your loved one shot and killed in front of you.
It's deeper than a loved one. It's your child's. You got kids?
Yeah, I got a son.
Like, when you have kids, you realize like you're not living for yourself no more. You know what I mean? You living for somebody else. So when you take a parent from their child, it's like you really like hindering this child to where you taking their guidance away. You're taking their hero away.
You're taking their leader away.
You're taking their leader away.
Something we just talked about.
So now you got another kid coming up with half of a leader that's gone. One of his leaders is gone, which is going to be making this kid late to get certain information that their leader could give them to help them prosper through life. So it's a tough cycle, and it sucks that like we as black and browns, like we like the main community that live this way. You know what I mean? Like we feel like we got to take somebody's life or like.
And our own people's lives. Like I think we have to figure out how do we value each other and we love each other. Like if you my brother and we come from the same communities, I don't want to see you dead. I don't want to kill you. I don't want to cause you bodily harm. And it's just, it goes so deep because we can get into this and we can have these really long conversations just about the system and how it's set up from the infrastructure.
For sure.
And it's working exactly how they designed it to work.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So if the police ain't killing us, we gonna kill us. And we have to take accountability for how we play our part in this because this poverty mentality and this system has been designed this way.
I don't think nobody's life should be taken for a chain that you gonna snatch and you gonna sell it on the street for what, 10 grand, 5 grand?
You just a lick. And then next week.
And you broke in 2 weeks and then you gotta rob somebody else. What, you gonna kill him too over this chain? Like you done took somebody's whole legacy away for $10,000 and now you on your way to jail for the rest of your life.
And I always tell people, the problem with catching licks is you gotta keep catching them.
You gotta keep catching them.
Because you don't know what to do with money.
And there's so many legal licks to hit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what make it crazy. Like it's so much going on. You could start a podcast today.
Yeah.
You could be a content creator. There's people on Instagram making millions of dollars.
Or just work a regular job.
Work a regular job.
And it's okay to work a regular job.
It's okay. Everybody got an Instagram page and everybody rich on Instagram. Right? So it make people want what they see all day. And they want to be able to skip steps to hurry up and do it or present themselves like they do it without doing it. That's why I named my project Results Take Time. Because for me personally, as an artist, it took me time.
And it comes out this Friday, by the way.
September 16th. But it took me a lot of time and understanding and a lot of messing up to figure out how to get or where to get in this business.
Because you had to switch record labels, right? So you went through the Columbia process.
But even before it was a record label involved, it was so much money I wasted on shooting videos, borrowing money from other people to get my songs mixed, right? Then you get money, you got to pay these people back, so you broke. Learning how to market yourself, learning how to go out. And when I got to the first label, immediately I realized I wasn't a priority. Right? And that's cool because you a new artist and I didn't come into it with a big record or a big project or nothing like that. So I'm always willing to work my way to it. But as you working your way through it, you start realizing all the politics that go into it and all the things that could kind of knock you down and keep you from getting up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I ended up getting out of my deal because the people who brought me in went to a different label. So it was a regime change.
Yeah.
The label started operating off of a different business model, and I went back independent. And when I went back independent, I realized I don't like being independent.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Because
and some people like it,
yeah,
and some people
and
don't.
I respect the people that like it. Like it's tough for me because my mind is always so in the future.
Yeah.
So it's certain things I forget because I don't live in the present a lot.
Yeah.
So being independent was kind of a thing for me to where I want to make the music. I want to make sure the business is straight. I want to get on the road and sell it. I don't know how to do what Michelle do and put me in front of you.
Right.
So if I got to worry about all these things as an artist,
It
it
can be
takes away from my
overwhelming.
creative process and it makes it not
Because
fun.
you don't have that infrastructure
Exactly.
set in, that foundation laid.
And when I got to Atlantic, that's when the first time I got it is when I seen it. So I seen what everybody do. We had a meeting yesterday. I seen the marketing team coming up with these creative ideas. I seen the radio team interested in what the next song is. So it makes my job easier to say, okay, we need this, that, and the third. Let me go do this, bring that to y'all so y'all could do your job and I can go back to being
and
an
they
artist.
just magnify whatever it is you setting the foundation on. And it's interesting because even though, you have this deal, you can still learn from them.
Yeah.
Right? So now that you see how that works, if you decide, I want to start my own thing.
Now you know how it works.
Now you know how it works.
And I think that's what made Gotti so great. I think Gotti studied the music industry at an all-time high, and he became a scientist behind it. I hear a lot of stories about Gotti, about how he's still hands-on to this day.
Oh, very hands-on.
He's still on every call. He's coming up with his own rollouts.
Gotti will call you to book himself or his artist for Summer Jam.
Yeah.
Like, he will call you, like, I need this artist. Can you do this? Like, he's very hands-on with his project.
And that's part of being a great executive, right? So I think when you see the Gottis, when you see the Coach K's and the P from QC, you got to ask these people questions. You got to study them because they got it right. Everybody always got, like, answers or what you should be doing or telling you what you be doing, but they ain't did it on a high level. You know what I mean? So when these people is doing it on that type of level, these is people we should be holding up on a statue and a pillar, you know what I mean, and saluting them.
But you're humble about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You feel like it's a privilege to be in those rooms.
Yes.
A lot of people don't understand access
is more important than money.
Because
I say that all the time.
access will eventually give you opportunity that will lead you to the bag.
Yep.
I think a lot of times people take for granted the access point.
Yep.
And they come in these rooms and they don't soak up the knowledge that they need to soak up, and they think that it can go 0 to 100 real quick. But that's just ego.
That's why I hate to hear people complain. Like when I hear artists be like, I ain't got the money to do this, or I can't do this, I'm the type of person, I'm going to figure it out. Like, it's been times I ain't had money, and I had enough money for a plane ticket to get to a Rolling Loud or to get to an A3C Fest, but I ain't had money for a room, right? But I just went.
Yeah.
I just went, and what happened? I ended up running into somebody or knocking a cute-ass girl who got a hotel room, and I spent the night with her or something. You know what I mean?
That West Coast shit, finessing, you know what I'm saying? Using that accent for your good.
You know what I mean? But it's all about figuring it out.
Yeah.
Like, you got to figure it out when you want something. And I feel like it's a gift and a curse. You
gotta be humble in the process.
For sure.
Yeah,
but that's what make you humble is figuring it out, because you know no matter what, you gonna find a way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You gonna find a way through it all.
But I love that album title though.
Results
so
take time.
The songs in the album, we kind of reflect that process.
Yeah.
For you.
So results take time. My intro is called Overnight. The next song is called Never Change. Next song is called Never End Up Broke. Next song is called Can't Win for Nothing. I got a song called Trust Issues, and it's about cheating, right? In relationships, right?
You got cheated on?
No, I'm a cheater.
What's your sign?
I'm an Aries.
Oh my god!
But I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at it. But it comes from having a desire for women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You meet women, you want to talk to them, you want to get to know them, everything. But me getting to this process took time to be like, okay, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna hurt this person, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with this person, whatever it is I'm doing.
Because
that's a process that take time.
But that's the thing, though. I think that's what most men, slack on, is just being honest. I think women would be more open to understanding. Okay, well, me and you are together, but you still have the desires to be with other women.
Yeah.
Some, believe it or not, might be okay with that.
For sure.
If if you had the conversation.
But you owe them, like you just said, you owe them the conversation to keep it real with them, to let them make that choice on their own.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that's where it goes wrong, is like when you just constantly like kind of sell a lie or tell a lie.
What's the craziest thing that ever happened to you from cheating? Got some
I never
windows
really
broke?
had nothing crazy happen, because like my cheating ain't never been bad to where like I had like a private family.
Cheating ain't never been
nah,
bad.
you know when like people be having like these,
a baby on you, cheating
a
is
side
bad.
baby, or like you in a whole nother relationship for 6 years with somebody, or like you got a side apartment with somebody.
Yeah,
it ain't
that's
never
hurtful.
been that. It'll be more so like me texting somebody or DMing, liking a picture, things like that. It ain't never been to the extreme. So I ain't never like got slapped or got my clothes thrown out.
You ain't get them
like
Jordans
that.
bleached up yet?
Nah,
well, you ain't been through shit
yet. I ain't never went that bad. I ain't never went that far with it.
So you're done with cheating? For right now?
Yes.
To this point?
Yes, I'm trying to get better.
Are you doing therapy?
I got my Dr. Black over there. It's my dog. He keep me on point. He tell me when I'm wrong. You know, it's my big bro. He let me know when I'm doing something wrong and how I should go about it. But I'm human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm learning as I go.
But I love the fact that you are open to speaking with someone and having those real conversations.
You got to.
Because I feel like sometimes black men, you know, in our culture, it's just so prideful. It's a pride thing.
Facts.
So I'm not going to talk about my issues, or I'm not going to give too much of my inner feelings because of pride. But the fact that you do have someone that you speak to about it and they give you advice, I think that's a great thing.
Nah, and I got a great mom. So my mom would tell me when I'm wrong or doing certain things. But you got to understand, too, for like a young man in the industry, it's tough. Like, you meeting new women every day. You talking to different women. They all beautiful.
He cute.
Yeah, so it's like you around it to where like the temptation factor is higher, right? Like I tell people all the time, right? If, let's say we go outside right now, right? And we see a girl that's not the most attractive, right? We can go up the street. We could put her in that Burberry outfit you got on. We can get her makeup done. We can get her hair done. We could throw that rollie on and them bracelets on her, right?
It's Chanel, by the way, but
that
it's okay.
Chanel on, right? And she gonna start looking like something, right? But take a ugly nigga. You put this nigga in some Gucci, some Louis. This nigga just walk ugly. He talk ugly. His swag. It's nothing you could do. I could read right through. There's nothing you could do to save it.
You're absolutely right about that. And that's why sometimes people can't understand why the most beautiful women date the most ugliest men.
Facts.
And the fact of the matter is, it's really not about the looks for women. It's about the swag.
Exactly.
It's about how they handle you. It's about their confidence. It's about how they step in the room, how they handle business, how they provide for you.
Facts.
It's all that.
Looks ain't everything. But
I'll take an ugly motherfucker all day.
With confidence, that know how to carry himself, right? Some swag, he know how to communicate with people.
And he work hard to take care of his family.
Hard, right? He may not be in the streets, but he ain't no sucker. You know, he gonna protect you. Yeah. There's a lot of men that can't do that, right? So it's the temptation factor, I feel like, is higher for us. It's harder. But I'm learning how to discipline myself and get better at it. It's just a process. I'm a work in progress.
I love that.
Yeah.
So interesting. I read while I was looking you up today is that you played basketball.
Yeah.
So my son plays basketball. So
Okay.
you know I'm a basketball
What position
mom.
he play?
He plays power forward.
Okay.
But he's young. He's 11.
Okay.
But he plays for like 2 AAU teams. Then his school league. It's just like I'm an Uber for him basically.
Okay.
So what made you want to transition into music and not take the basketball thing more serious?
So in 11th grade, I had a coach that was an asshole, right? And he really took the fun out of the game for me. And I feel like he did that because of how his career went in the NBA. So he was somebody that made it to the NBA but didn't sustain in the NBA. So he had a lot of just bitterness on him. You know what I mean? And he would try to rub that off on us and make us feel like we was doing something wrong if we wasn't doing it like him.
Doing it his way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it took the fun out of the game for me. And I remember arguing with him one time, just like going back and forth. And me being a stubborn kid, you know what I mean? I'm like, well, fuck it, I ain't gonna play next season. Right? So I'm thinking I'm doing something, like trying to send like a shock through the school because I was a star player. So everybody like, you really ain't gonna play? You really ain't gonna play? And I'm one of them people to where like
If you
I ain't
say
got no
something-
gray area.
Yeah, if you
So I'm
say
either
something,
not gonna do it or I'm gonna go all the way.
no in between.
So when I said it, I'm like, shit, I done talk too much shit now. I gotta stand on it. So through not playing for the rest of my junior year, my homie had a studio. So instead of going to basketball practice every day after school, we started going to his house and just recording and writing and rapping and doing little things.
Wow.
And then I started getting good at it and I started liking it and just developing more of a skill for it. Then after high school, I was supposed to go play ball. Due to some unfortunate situations, they wanted me to go to a JC and play to be able to go to a Division I the following year. And I just ain't feel like doing that. I just ain't feel like waking up every day at 6 o'clock, going to practice. I just lost the love for it. I ain't want to do it
because
no more.
people don't really know. Being an athlete, I mean, it is kind of like being an artist because you got to have discipline to do the studio
For
thing.
sure.
For a fact. You got to live, eat, breathe the studio. But basketball, that mental capacity, that you have to have deep mental capacity to wake up, train, eat, train, like to play on that elite type level. That is
tough.
draining.
It's tough because you gotta think like you gotta eat right? You gotta sleep right. You gotta work out every day. Like they not giving out these $100 million contracts for nothing.
No.
Like you gotta put that work in, and then it's a political part to that, right? You gotta have the right agent, the right trainer.
Everything.
Have the right people in play to be able to get you there. So it's tough.
So I heard, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, that you really took rap serious after a girl you dated said she liked your music.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's when it got real. Like I had this song. I think it was called "Are You the One," and it was this girl I used to like at school, and I used to always like try to talk to her. And she was like one of them cute girls that ain't talk to nobody. Mm-hmm. So we ended up in a class together one day. And I was passing my CDs out, giving everybody in class my little mixtape and everything. So like 2 days.
Disturbing the class.
Yeah. I used to be in the back of the class like with the textbook up and a notebook just writing raps, acting like I was listening to the teacher read.
Wow.
And one day, after giving out CDs, she came to school and we was walking out of class one day and she was like, I really like that song on your mixtape. And I'm like, what song? She was like, Are You the One? So then I ended up getting her number because she liked the song, right? And we was cool with each other, right?
Wow.
But we was cool with each other and that made me be like, damn, like, I could get all the girls doing music. Like, so it just made me want to go harder with doing music.
And did you battle rap?
For a little bit, but it wasn't like a professional. I wasn't like a professional battle rapper. I was more so like the school battle rapper.
Yeah,
like,
on the lunch tables,
yeah,
getting it in
yeah,
type
that
vibe.
people want to run up and then they rap and then we go back and forth. But I never like did smack or nothing like that.
So being that you come from basketball and one of the biggest icons in basketball, LeBron James, he liked your music. Yeah. He's a fan of your music. What was that like for you?
Oh man, that's like the moment when the girl liked my song in high school. That's what keep you going at a professional level, right? So it's like I grew up idolizing LeBron James. I grew up trying to be like LeBron James, trying to make my shot like his, trying to dunk like him. So when that happened for me, it was just like validation to like keep going and work harder and go even harder, because if I could get somebody on the caliber of LeBron James to like what I'm doing and post what I'm doing, I'm obviously doing something cool.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's interesting because I was reading through some of the comments and they compare you to Pusha T comparison. It's so interesting to me. By the way, Pusha T is in my top 5.
Okay.
One of my favorite rappers ever.
Shout out to Push.
Like, it's interesting that comparison comes about because you guys come from two spectrums of the world, meaning like the Bay is very different from Virginia and the East Coast, period.
Yep.
How do you feel about those comparisons?
It makes sense to me because as a kid, my mom moved me around a lot.
I never knew that.
Yeah, my mom was a real estate agent. She still is. And she used to travel a lot. So we'd go from Texas to Vegas to New York. Like I remember, I think I was like 9. I was either 9 or 10. We came to New York and spent Christmas here for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Right? So I would always listen to different music from different regions. And one thing I noticed was like certain music where I was from, it would kind of not leave our region. Like it kind of always stayed in our area, never really like expanded out.
Because the sound and the production
is so regional.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I started making music and seeing that by moving around as a kid, it made me want to make my music more universal to where I can expand into different places.
Yeah.
So I listened to a lot of Pusha T growing up. I listened to a lot of Jadakiss. I listened to a lot of Joe Budden. I listened to a lot of Jay-Z.
East Coast rappers.
Yeah, like that's what really got me into being a lyricist.
Well, listen, if you're going to be compared to someone, it's best to be compared to the great. Because Pusha T is in a lot of people's top fives. And his punchlines.
He's a GOAT.
Oh, he's a GOAT, for sure. All right, so listen, the album is coming September 16th. Yes. Fans are going to be going crazy over this album. Again, I love the title of the album.
Yes.
Make sure you guys stream it on all the platforms. Results take time.
Yeah.
Before we end this interview, we got to play a little game.
Okay,
you
let's
ready?
Do it.
Let's play a game, guys. This is called This or That. You can't think about it. You just got to spit it out, okay?
Okay.
Instagram, Twitter.
Instagram.
Playing basketball or rapping?
Rapping.
East Coast, West Coast?
West Coast.
Music-wise, Jay-Z or Pusha T?
Jay-Z.
Ooh. Okay.
Jay-Z like my favorite rapper ever. Him and Future.
Yeah, I love Future too.
Yeah.
Jay-Z's my number one.
Yeah.
Pusha may be my number 4.
Okay.
And Jay's definitely my number 1.
Okay.
Damian Lillard or Kawhi Leonard?
Damian Lillard.
Why?
Because he's from the Bay.
Of course.
That's my
Skill-wise,
dog.
though. Skill-wise, who's better?
Skill-wise, to me, Damian Lillard.
He's better?
I feel like Kawhi bigger. You know what I mean? He got bigger hands. You know what I mean? He taller. But I feel Dame more savvy.
Okay.
I feel like he a little more skilled with that ball.
Okay. Chick-fil-A or Popeyes?
Chick-fil-A.
That's no comparison. No sauce. And I don't even eat meat, but the French fries alone.
Yeah, them waffle fries off the chain, for sure.
Shout out to my homegirl, by the way. You went to her restaurant, Shane, in Virginia, the soul food restaurant.
Yeah, Southern Kitchen.
Southern Kitchen.
Man, it was fire. That food was fire.
Yeah. I remember
that food was fire.
I used to do radio down there back in the day.
Yeah.
And I remember when she first had the vision of opening a restaurant.
Yeah.
And now she has like a couple of them. So
and
shout out to her.
She like a great, just sweet
Soul.
lady.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you meet people like that, you just want to just like show them love. You just want to hug them and show them some respect. No, she's just a genuine soul.
I remember when I first moved down there, she like helped me like find my real estate agent and just get acclimated to the city.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's a good person. All right. Going to the mall or shopping online?
I like going to the mall.
Yeah, you like to
I feel
feel
like
it.
shopping online has became more of a thing. But I feel like it's still an experience with going to the mall. Like it's just something that's therapeutic about
You could just put it on, try it on. I
just
like
walking
it.
around, seeing people, you know. So I like going to the mall.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
I would have thought that. Just because you're from the West Coast.
Yeah,
and
summer.
Y'all don't like cold when y'all come over here.
Nah, it'd be too cold over here. But right now, it's too hot over there.
Yeah.
Like the other day, it was 124 over there.
Oh, nah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, Symba, thank you so much for stopping by today.
Thank you for having
I had
me.
a fabulous conversation with you. I could sit here and talk to you all day. So I'm going to leave it to you.
It's Results Take Time out this Friday. It's your boy Symba, man. Y'all make sure y'all stream that on all platforms.